over 400 miles in another country with 3 friends, and that's where you meet your new best friend. I'm Adam.
And I'm Emily.
This is Does It Hold Up? And here's our review of Arthur the King. This is the story of a man named Michael, played by Mark Wahlberg, who gets together with 3 co-workers, colleagues, and they're going to do an adventure race in the Dominican Republic. Well, there they come across a dog who's had a very hard life. When they decide to make friends with it, the dog follows them throughout their entire journey, helping them along the way, and it's an emotional roller coaster, to be honest. What did you think of it?
I expected this movie to be quite dramatic. You hear that synopsis and you're like, oh my god, they're going to just punch you in the face with how much emotion is going to go through this movie. And it was actually a lot more lighthearted than I was expecting. It had a lot of fun moments and very cute moments. Don't get me wrong, there was definitely emotional moments, but they felt earned and not overdone.
Yeah. So, just to get a few things out of the way. If you're an animal lover, this movie probably is going to be for you. You're probably going to enjoy this movie. If you're not an animal lover, well, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, this movie might not be for you. This is not a very well-made movie. It's not directed well. It's not shot well. The pacing is pretty awful at times. This entire race takes place over a 5-day period, which means you have a pretty set time frame. You should understand what's happening at every point, how long it's been. But the movie doesn't bother to really tell you and leaves you guessing a lot of times. This director didn't do a very good job with any of that. The acting isn't very good either. It stars Mark Wahlberg, who, as we know, isn't the best actor. He's good in certain roles. This happened to not be one of them. And it stars Simu Liu as his friend Leo, who's I just don't think a very good actor either. And he's not good in this movie at all. So it's just, technically speaking, a bad movie.
I will definitely agree with that. The movie kind of didn't know what it wanted to focus on, because I thought it was going to focus more on the dog's relationship with the people and how it came to be friends and that it helping them on their journey. And it half focused on that and half focused on the people and just their journey in general, because this is their last race ever, the last chance that they can have to win. And it was just an odd mixture of the two that I didn't quite get.
Yeah, absolutely. But because it focused on a dog for a good portion of the movie and its journey, if you are a dog lover, you're going to love this part. But what bothered me the most about all of it was Michael, Mark Wahlberg's character, kept talking about how it's his last race ever. He's been out of the game for 3 years, and now he's finally going to do his last race ever. And he puts together a team. The problem is, they keep talking about how we gotta win this one. It's the last one. We gotta win this one. Simu Liu's character, Leo, this isn't his last race. If he wanted to do another, he absolutely could. The young woman, Olivia, could absolutely do another race. They kept making it seem like this team had been together for the last 20 years of races, and this was their last chance to really get something. And that just wasn't the case, because this movie wasn't written well. They wanted to tell you story X, but instead they told us story Y, Z, and A. And it didn't really make sense, anything that was happening, except when it came to the dog.
Yeah. The dog was the saving grace of this movie, obviously. It was a very cute dog, you could see emotion in that dog's face, and they didn't fake that, which, a lot of movies where the dog is the main component would just be like, we're gonna CGI its eyes so that it looks more emotional.
Looking at you, Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford, who decided to make an entire dog out of CGI instead of getting a real dog for the movie. At least this movie has that going for it.
Yeah. So I agree. It just didn't focus on the right story, and that kind of bothered me a little. But I am a dog lover, and so I did enjoy this movie because it is about a dog.
So what worked actually really well for this movie was, instead of showing you the hardships that this dog has been through, because nobody really wants to see animal abuse and see animals get hurt. If you do, you should probably seek help. I'm just telling you right now, might be something wrong with you. But this movie didn't bother showing you all that, which is a good thing. They tell you the dog has been through a lot, but they don't need to show it. You want to know why? Because my imagination's worse than anything they could have showed me anyway. I understand some people are evil to animals, and those people should probably be put down, but that's another conversation for another time. So this dog, them saying the dog's been abused, I can imagine how that happened. I don't need to see it. And for such an emotional movie, it does a really good job of not manipulating that emotion out of you, but rather bringing it out of you in a very genuine, sincere way, which I thought was really good.
That was actually my favorite aspect of this movie, is because it could have easily gone into the manipulative zone. This subject matter is so hard when you have a dog that has been abused or had issues living on the streets. So for the fact that I never felt manipulated was impressive to me.
Yeah, very much so. Now, the race part, the friendship part, kind of doesn't work in this movie. Michael is the lead of this team that includes Chick, Leo, and Olivia. He's just met Olivia for the first time. They're not really friends. This is the first race they're going together on. Leo is a former friend who kind of embarrassed Michael at one point, and they're trying to, I guess, rekindle their friendship or repair their friendship, but they don't spend enough time on it for it to actually matter. And then the final guy on the race is named Chick, and he's superfluous. He doesn't really matter other than the fact that he's got a bum knee and it might hurt their chances of winning.
His whole storyline was the fact that he was on a different team and they dumped him because of his knee, and now he wants to come back and show them all up. So it's his and Michael's last.
Which makes sense, but it doesn't make any sense in the story. Like, his story's fine, but the story they're trying to tell, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to connect with these people, and I just don't, because I don't care. And this movie doesn't focus enough on the dog for it to really actually matter. Like, I wanted an 1.5-hour movie where a good hour is just the dog. But there's a good, 35 minutes of prologue, of build up to them getting to this race that has nothing to do with anything. I don't need to see Michael trying to get sponsors for this. I don't need to see Michael and his wife talking about how, well, racers race. We get it. Shut up. You said it 19 times already. You don't need to say it anymore. Just get to the race part. There's just so much. This is a 20-minute, 30-minute short story at best that they push into an hour 45.
Yeah, they try to give so many storylines to each character to kind of round them out, but they never pay off, like, any of their stories besides, like, Chick's and Michael's, and that's, like, it? And it's like, why'd you even bring that stuff up then? What was the point?
So I'm going to go into quick spoiler alert territory. So if you don't want to know what happens, jump ahead about 30 seconds. But the chick Olivia in this group, her father's dying of cancer, and she brings it up multiple times, and there's never a conclusion to that. We don't know if he lives, dies, how much longer they had. We never address this character after the race ends, and that's where this movie loses its complete focus. We're back from spoilers, so I think they just didn't do a good job with all of these characters, and they needed to focus more on just Michael and the dog. Michael and the dog. All these other people could have just been background characters, and the movie would have worked a lot better.
Or give them each a moment with the dog.
Yes. Leo gets a moment with the dog, Michael gets a lot of moments with the dog, and that's it. Now, if you're gonna watch this movie, make sure you do stick around for the beginning of the credits, because this movie there is no post-credit scene, but there's a beginning credits scene. And it's just pictures of the actual person with the actual dog. And it's so heartwarming and just a feel-good moment, because this movie is based on a true story. How much of it is true? Well, there's tons of articles out there that you can read to find out. Let's just say it's like 50-50. But it's really nice to see that some of these pictures match up with exact moments that you saw throughout the movie, which shows that they actually did care about this story and wanting it to get told.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, this is just a mediocre to bad movie. There isn't anything really truly redeeming about it, other than the fact that it's a cute dog that you just feel for and you want good things for. So you're kind of invested in that way. But any of the humans, you could have changed them out for anybody else, and it really wouldn't have mattered overall. So I'm going to say that you can skip this one in theaters if you want and just check it out at home. I do think it's worth watching if you're an animal person, but I don't think you need to rush out to the theaters to see it.
I think if you were an animal person, you should definitely see it. I think in theaters is good. I'm glad I saw it in theaters. However, I can definitely see waiting till it gets home because it's not a must-see movie right at this second.
Yeah, save your money. Wait till it comes to streaming. It'll probably be there sooner rather than later. All right, that's it for us and our review of Arthur the King. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about the movie if you've already seen it. Are you actually going to check it out? Are you a dog person? If you're not, well, that's all I got to say to you. Anyway, so come back next week. I'll be back on Tuesday with my weekly box office roundup. How well did Arthur the King do this weekend? Come back and find out. Until then, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and as always, keep watching movies.
Bye.